This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Well, welcome to Bumper Radio on Dave Riccio's birthday weekend. I told my wife she's got to listen in because we're going to be talking about what gifts to get me for my birthday weekend.
I don't know that you deserve a gift, Dave.
Well, Bumper to Bumper Radio, we're here to help you, the motoring public, have a better overall car experience. So if you got car questions, we've got car answers, and we encourage you to give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. And today on the Bumper to Bumper Roadmap, some fact or fiction, and we're going to be taking your phone calls and your text. And Matt, weather changes. You know, whenever there's extremes, cars show up at the shop. Nothing really happens in those mild months, you know, spring and fall, everything's happy. But as soon as that first cold snap happens, my phone starts ringing.
Oh, big time. I mean, that's when all the, again, you get the hot, you get breakdowns. You get cold, you just get different things happening. Not necessarily breaking down. And, Dave, I don't even know that we need to say it's an extreme. Tell you what, the temperatures right now are getting down in the 60s in some areas of town at nighttime. If you're in the outer line areas, maybe a little bit lower. But it's back up in, you know, the mid-90s or low 90s during the day. So we're having 30-degree temperature swings. And, hey, I know what it does on my truck. I got my tire pressure warning light is on, you know, because tire pressures, they're going to lose a percentage, 10%. Of the pressure with the decrease in temperature.
Don't let them fool you. That light's been on for months. It's just that shoemakers' kids go without shoes.
Well, there's definitely some truth to that. The light has been on for a couple weeks, as a matter
but with that
first
cold morning where it gets maybe drops below 50, you're going to get in the car and you're going to see that little horseshoe-looking light with the yellow.
Right, and that's indicated that you've got a flat tire or a tire that's low. And the way they determine that is there's a pressure sensor inside the wheel mounted in the valve stem, and that sends a signal to the computer in the car and lets you know in some cases it'll let you know the actual pressure. On a bit of a newer car, you can see the real-time pressure in your tire. Others, it's just telling you that you have a tire that is flat or low. Sometimes it uses a wheel speed sensor to measure the diameter of the tire while it's rolling, so it's not an actual pressure reading. And don't forget, that can also be caused by your spare tire, too. So, remember to get your spare checked. But that's one of the things now that we're going to see. If it were me, maybe now is also a good time to have a look at your tires, maybe have your shop look at your tires and just make sure that they're going to be good for the winter. Because remember, we travel to places that don't have this great weather.
And that's what's happening is probably about 3-4 weeks from now, Thanksgiving time, we're driving somewhere. That's when all the road trips happen, and that's when the week before or maybe Monday, Tuesday before Thanksgiving weekend, people come in and say, hey, I want to get my car checked out before I leave town. And you look at it and you're like, oh, man, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's broken or needs attention. So the point of this is to get your car in before that happens so you're not in a panic last minute trying to get stuff fixed. It may be perfectly fine, but it's not a bad time to have it checked out. But that tire light's going to come on. Some of the other things that come up this time of year.
Well, battery, again, your battery, we see most of our batteries fail because of the heat. It's very mild right now. So pay attention to the way the battery sounds. Make sure that your shop is always testing your battery when you have your oil service done. And just if you hear that car, just a slightly different note, cranks a little bit different, just have it checked. Because, again, you're going to maybe be here in Phoenix, but you head up to Flagstaff or Sunrise or Utah somewhere to go snow skiing, and boom, it gets 30 degrees and the battery's done, out to lunch.
Well, they rate them in cold cranking amps because cold is hard on the batteries. We see it here because of the heat. They're all dying in the summertime, but wintertime. In talking to Billy from Interstate, he's from Chicago. So there it's a whole different reason why batteries die. They die because of the cold.
Speaking of Billy from Interstate, I totally forgot about this, but we had an event with him Wednesday night, where we gathered around. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The Interstate Battery Distributor here, they're in Mesa, Tempe area, they sold their 2 millionth battery since he opened his franchise. 2 million batteries.
That's a lot of batteries.
That's a lot of batteries. And I think Interstate Batteries does also recycle more than they sell. So at least we know that they've recycled 2 million batteries as well. So that's a good thing. But what's another thing, Dave, that that's going to bring us these mild temperatures or the change in seasons where we might see something pop up.
Well, for us at the transmission shop, we don't necessarily see transmissions fail more in the summer. We actually, what happens is they maybe take on a little damage or leaks develop in the summer, and then it shows up in the winter when it gets cold. So in those cold mornings, what happens is, because the transmission fluid expands and contracts with temperature, if your transmission fluid's a little bit low in the summertime, it's really low in the wintertime. So you're going to have these cars that have morning sickness. You know, take the car out of park on that cold start, put it in gear, and it just sits there. And it just waits and waits and waits, and then it finally goes.
I was thinking of something different about the cool weather besides the fluid expanding and contracting. And talking about leaks, so I think the leaks, the metals themselves expand and contract, and when that thing's nice and cold, maybe you have an O-ring that's slightly hardened and cold, and then you have a metal case that's cold, and now what do you have? A little bit of a gap and a leak, right?
Yeah, so leaks show up, and even, the other thing that comes up is cooling systems. You know how many times these people bring their car, and they're like, my car leaked coolant everywhere, and we look at it, and everything's great, and the car's nice and hot.
You pressurize it. We put our cooling system pressure. We can't even force it to
leaks,
leak.
But that thing sits in the shop overnight. You come in the morning, there's a big old puddle of coolant underneath it.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing I see show up in the wintertime.
Yeah, I mean, you have it's amazing how a car will leak cold, especially a fluid like a water, for example. Ice cold, the thing leaks. You warm it up, and it doesn't leak. So maybe you want to check that parking space in the garage when you pull out in the morning, or you've been at work all day. And the other thing to keep an eye out for, speaking of cooling system, is the odor. You'll have maybe a sweet smell or just some kind of strange smell, maybe coming through the vent sometime, or even out by the front. By the radiator on the car. But the other thing that we see at this time of year a lot when the temperature's changing, check engine light on, and the code is for engine not reaching operating temperature. I think it's a 128 or something like that. And a lot of the times the problem is the cooling system. And what's happening is, and we don't see it during the wintertime or during the summertime, but the thermostat is stuck open slightly, allowing the water to flow. That way, therefore, the water in the engine block doesn't heat up. And one symptom that you may be able to diagnose that yourself or have a pretty good idea, you can notice that the car's heater is not working either. You got to remember, on a modern car, we want these cars warmed up as fast as possible for emissions. So you should be getting that thing up in the middle of the middle of the gauge, if you have a gauge, within about 4 minutes.
Well, you said something earlier that people should pick up on, is that look underneath their car. I don't know how many people come in. They have no idea their car has been leaking. Well, have you seen the leaks in the driveway? No, but I never really looked.
Right, exactly.
Take a look when you back out of your parking spot. Is there anything there? And the colors don't really mean anything. In the old days, green was coolant, red was transmission fluid, some of those. But now you've got coolant that's red, or you've got coolant that's blue. I mean, in transmission fluids, not even some of them comes out of the bottle brown, and you pour it in.
Or blue, yeah.
But be looking for those fluid leaks and pay attention to smells and things like that, because you can save yourself a lot of trouble. And really what we want to emphasize on here is not to get caught off guard by auto repair, because they need to go in, and it's just better not to be breaking down on the road trip.
Be proactive. The other thing is the running condition. When it gets cold, back when we had carbureted cars, the chokes would go bad, the choke pull-off would need to be adjusted, all kinds of different things. So some of the things, again, this cool weather, when the weather is cold and the car is starting out cold, it wants rich. It wants a nice fat fuel mixture. It wants extra fuel till it gets warmed up. It takes a little bit more to burn that fuel. You've got to have a nice hot spark. So if you have minor vacuum leaks, fuel system that's maybe on the fritz, spark plugs that are slightly worn out, that cold weather is going to make that symptom show even more. So that's another thing. We might see some check engine lights first thing in the morning on a cold startup. I think we've covered all the little things, Dave.
Well, today we are taking phone calls in regard to anything on your car, and also a birthday gift request. For me, tomorrow's my birthday. I told my wife it's my birthday weekend. It's like Father's Day weekend. I try and stretch that thing out. She says, well, last night she says, well, the weekend doesn't start till tomorrow. I said, honey, it's midnight, so it's already my birthday weekend.
Right. Well, I think you got your birthday gift already. Heading over there to that baseball game, Dave.
That Cubs game was fantastic. So looking forward to another big W tonight. Anyhow, give us a call at 602-277-5827. 602-277-KTAR. You can also text us at 411-923. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys, on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Matt and I share car repair tips weekly to help you keep your car safely on the road, and a few of them are easy to do.
Yep, you're right, Dave. And one of the easiest is to have a dependable battery that you can trust to get you started no matter what the conditions.
Interstate batteries are what we trust at Bumper to Bumper Radio. In fact, they're what we use at our own shops for our customers.
If you're like most people, your car is one of your most valuable investments. Make sure you take care of that investment with the power necessary to get you where you need to be. Interstate batteries are America's #1 replacement brand with a factory fresh guarantee, and they're easy to find at good shops everywhere.
Cars or trucks, Interstate has you covered with long life and performance in our harsh desert climates with products like Megatron Plus. It carries a 30-month free replacement and a 6-year performance guarantee.
Interstate batteries. No battery lasts longer. Check them out at interstatebatteries.com.
There's nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock for Kurt's Auto Repair. Family owned and operated and Bumper to Bumper Radio preferred. We've been taking care of Valley families and their auto care needs with a perfect Better Business record for over 27 years. Come experience the difference our ASE Master Techs can make for you and your family at Kurt's Auto Repair. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue and Bell Road, or online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A+ rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20-plus years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
This is Bumper to Bumper Radio, KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Matt Allen. This guy is Dave Riccio, and we are your KTAR car guys here every Saturday at 11 to help you with your car. So if you have some questions, we are happy to help you. If you do that by giving us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. We will also take some of your questions and have some text conversations with you if you'd like it. 411-923. So the weather's changing. It's getting a little cooler. You know, we don't have fall here. It just goes from winter to
fall into
summer.
winter.
Yeah, we fall into winter or something like that. There's no 4 seasons, but the temperatures are changing. The cars are going to do some weird things. We might have some warning lights come on in the dash. Don't ignore them. They're probably not big things. You know, not a big deal. Tire pressure light comes on. Hey, it's a good idea. Let's get the pressure set. Make sure our tires are good for the winter. Make sure the battery's working. Just all these different kinds of systems do different things, perform differently when the weather changes.
Well, I think we're about 10 degrees warmer than we should be for this time of year. It's kind of really, I think it's going to shock us, you know. It's going to show up one day, it's going to be cold, and it's going to be great.
I'm looking forward to the cold weather.
I am, but, you know, I bike a lot. I hate putting all that stuff on. So I go out for an hour bike ride. It takes me a half an hour to just get ready. You know, there's base layers and extra socks and put the shoes on.
Your pretty little tights.
Yeah, I know. I'm a mountain biker, but when I started road biking, a lot of people said you're going to have to get used to the outfits. So I'd show up, everyone was in tights, and I'd be in mountain bike shorts and mountain bike helmet, and everything was wrong, and people would stare at me, and then I'm like, I finally got some tight pants.
Do you shave your legs?
No, I don't go that far.
Doesn't that slow you down a little bit? You got like these braids and dreadlocks hanging off your legs.
There is no shortage of hair at the Riccio household, that's for sure.
Okay, so 602-277-5827. We will help you with your car.
Looks like we got Joe in Phoenix. He's got a 2016 Chevy Silverado. How can we help you, Joe? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. Hey, Joe. No, Matt's hitting the wrong button.
No, I hit it, Dave. It's red.
It's red?
I don't know what's going on. We'll let Joe hang on for a while. So what are the other...
Hey, you with us, Joe?
Yes, I'm here.
What can we do for you?
I have had an 015 Silverado, 4.3 V6. Now I have an 016, same engine. And I noticed that when the dealer changes the oil, they'll use 0W20, but the oil cap on the engine says 530. So is that causing a problem, or can I use either or?
So the difference was they use 520, but the cap calls for 530?
020.
They actually use 020. The cap says 530.
I wouldn't have any heartburn over it.
I almost thought we were out of that 530 days. I'm surprised that's still on the oil cap.
Yeah, so either weight is probably okay.
Yeah, I think I would be fine with what they're doing. They certainly know what belongs in the car. I just have seen that change over the last years. Everything was 530 for the longest time, and now more than anything, you're seeing 020 show up in a lot of stuff.
Well, yeah, in my Toyota truck, I think it originally called for 520 motor oil, and that's what the that's what the manual says, as well as the cap. However, there was a service bulletin that then came out a short time after and said if you want to attain the fuel mileage that we told you can get, you have to use 020. So, I don't know. 2016 Silverado. So maybe there's something similar there. I mean, we talk about emissions, wanting to get the car warmed up as fast as possible. One of the other things that these manufacturers have to do is get fuel economy. And believe it or not, you can get that with the oil. It takes more to pump a heavier oil. So probably for those reasons.
Thanks for the call, Joe. 602-277-5827, or you can text us at 411-923. I've got a text here, 2012 Hyundai Sonata. And when I turn the wheel really tight, I hear a weird clicking sound from the front left wheel. Kyle, well, Matt, what do you think? Clicking noise, Sonata, turn the wheel hard. What do you think?
Well,
oh, he's over there breaking his microphone.
I don't know. This stuff's falling apart around here. Maybe they could get some stuff fixed. Who knows? So on the Sonata, yeah, I mean, you would typically think about a CV joint or CV axle, but he doesn't say when he's moving, does he? He just says when he turns the wheel really tight. Now, we've been having some Hyundai Kias in the shop lately, and there's a service bulletin, there's a gear down in the bottom of the steering column that wears out and breaks, and it makes a noise just when you're turning the wheel. So that could be something if there's no movement, if the car's not rolling. But if the CV joint would be typically making like a tight U-turn or maybe accelerating away from around a corner, rolling one of those California stops.
Right, that's when you start thinking about CV boot. So next one here, I've got a 2006 Chevy HHR. I just had to replace the radiator due to it getting a hole. I've never had a tune-up. Should I get one done, and how often should I get them? And that's a big, long answer.
Well, Chevy, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, tune-up is not, traditionally tune-ups happen pretty often. You go in, they adjust the carburetor, and they're going to put some spark plugs in it, and spark plug wires, and change points and condensers, and all these other things. These modern cars, there's not a lot like that. I mean, the car is self-tuning. So there's a computer that's got a bunch of sensors, and it's monitoring the way the engine's running, and it's adjusting solenoids and things as necessary to make it run right. Now, tune-up could mean more cleaning all those little motors.
Well, the generic term for tune-up has really been reduced down nowadays to replacing the spark plugs. So I bet if you were to look in the owner's manual, it's going to say the spark plugs are due at 100,000 miles. If you're not towing anything, this isn't one of those Fords that's having carbon issues or anything like that that's making the spark plugs come out and bring the threads with them. They're probably okay till 100,000 miles as long as the rest of the car is maintained as well and not having any running problems. But those are some of the things that now if you're towing, and you're not towing an HHR, but that same HHR, I've seen those with the 6-liter engine in them. That's the same in a truck. People are towing, and we still see those spark plugs worn out at 80,000 miles. But some of the other things that you might want to do before 100,000, at some point, what did he say? How many miles are on it? 60?
He did not say. It's 06, so about 10 years old.
About 10 years old, you might want to be thinking about doing fuel injection system cleaning. The throttle bodies get carboned up on these cars, and can cause some issues, especially cold drivability and idle problems. So,
how many problems have you seen on these cars, Matt, from lack of oil change? Not specifically the HHR, but just in general.
A lot.
We had these manufacturers all go to these long, extended services as far as the oil goes, and then as time's gone on, we've seen a lot of problems from that happening. So I kind of feel like it's going to go the other way.
I think so too, and they have, for example, Cadillac in some of their engines, they had this forever oil change, and the cars were ruining the timing chains. They're just wearing timing chains out. So you know what the update was to fix the timing chain problem? You reprogram the computer to tell you to get an oil change sooner. Other than that, I wanted to say that we're not seeing lubrication problems from extended oil change intervals. We're not having bearings wear out. We're not having camshafts wear out or anything like that. What we're seeing is crankcase ventilation issues. There's all that stuff that's carried in the oil is suspended in the oil, the fumes, the acids. That is causing damage. We've got to get that out of the engine with the oil change.
And I think, people felt comfortable going longer, and now I'm starting to see that going too long is not a good idea. Me personally, I change the oil in my cars every 5,000 miles, and I happen to do it with synthetic fluid. So anyhow, when we come back, we got wide open lines at 602-277-5827, 602-277 KTAR. If there's something nagging you on your car, you want to get it taken care of, give us a call. You listen to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys, on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Here's what Carrie from Tempe had to say about her experience with Good Works Auto Repair.
As soon as you realize, I need to get some work done on my car, I'm sure the thought occurs to you that you're about to get taken for a ride. I used to share the same sentiment and wondered if the shop was going to make something up and have me spending hundreds of dollars instead of $30 I was planning on for a simple oil change. This is one of the reasons I will only go to Good Works Auto Repair. Because I trust them. Putting trust in an auto shop didn't come easily. It's been built over several visits with them doing exactly what was needed, not coercing me into unnecessary work. Ask them for an oil change and a safety inspection, they do just that. No baloney, list of filters, belts, and whatchamacallits that need replacing on my new car. Thank you, Good Works Auto Repair, for being there for me when I need you.
Appreciate the kind words. It's always a pleasure. Glenn Hayward here. Come experience what award-winning auto service should be. Good Works Auto Repair in Tempe, or visit us at goodworksautorepair.com.
Are you looking for a refreshing change in customer service? I'm Lee Weatherby from Accurate Automotive. How about a refreshing change in your car repair relationship with honest, clear, and responsive service that looks out for your needs and not ours? For over 20 years, we've been delivering award-winning service provided by ASE-certified technicians with one goal, looking out for your best interest. If it needs fixing, we'll tell you. If it doesn't, you'll know that too. I guarantee that you will not get that business-as-usual treatment at Accurate Automotive. Foreign and domestic, cars, trucks, and even fleet service, Accurate can handle your job. I invite you to come in and experience a refreshing difference in car repair and maintenance. Stop by for a free courtesy inspection, a $49 value. We feel it is well worth our investment in you because we know that good long-term relationships start early with your first walk through our doors. I'm Lee Weatherby, and I'll be there to greet you. Accurate Automotive, home of friends serving friends, just off Broadway and Robeson in Mesa since 1992. For more information, check us out at AccurateAutomotiveAZ.com today.
Arizona's news station. KTAR, on air, 92.3 FM, online at KTAR.com, and streaming live on the KTAR News app. Your breaking news and traffic, now.
KTAR News Time, 11:30. I'm Mike Sackley. Arizona votes. Republican nominee Donald Trump spoke in Pennsylvania earlier today. He said he would sue the women who have accused him of inappropriate sexual behavior. Trump also laid out his plan for his first 100 days in office. That includes starting the process of appointing a replacement for the late Justice Antonin Scalia on the Supreme Court. Well, early voting is underway across much of the country, and one North Carolina resident has taken her vote seriously for decades.
In her 101 years, Mary Sue Wilson has not only witnessed history, she's making history. The North Carolina native holds the title of being the oldest voter in Mitchell County. With early voting underway in the state, she cast her ballot just days after her birthday.
Always voting, because it's important.
Wilson says she remembers casting her first vote for Franklin Roosevelt in 1936 and says she hasn't missed an election ever since. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Let's check traffic now in the RMEGold.com traffic center. Here's Mike Daniels.
Well, thanks, Mike. Still working a crash at 59th Avenue south of Thomas and a wreck at Scottsdale Road north of Bell to watch out for. This report brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Annuities aren't right for everyone. How do you know if they're right for you? Well, just text the word retired to 411-923 to learn more. I'm Mike Daniels, KTAR News.
Thanks, Mike. Sunny skies today, the high 98. It'll be clear tonight with a low of 70. Partly sunny tomorrow, slight chance for rain with a high of 95. And a little cooler Monday with cloudy skies, chance for showers and thunderstorms, 87 the high. Weather brought to you by Howard Air. Right now it's 92 degrees in Apache Junction. Matt and Dave, KTAR's Car Guys on Bumper to Bumper, are back with you next. I'm Mike Sackley on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
Arizona, an amazing state for outdoor recreation and exploration. Full of mountains, lakes, streams, forests, and of course, our beautiful deserts. Hunting, fishing, camping. If it's about the outdoors, we've got it covered. KTAR invites you to Get Outdoors with Mike Russell today at noon. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and on every device with the KTAR app.
Membership has privileges, especially at the all-new Camelback Golf Club. A limited number of memberships are now available that include 36 holes of spectacular golf with a $10 million Herds and Fry designed Ambiente course, and of course the all-time Valley favorite Arthur Hills Padre course. Guaranteed tee times, discounted guest fees, private locker rooms, member lounge, reciprocal privileges at select Marriott golf facilities, and complimentary golf for kids under 10, and much, much more. All this with very affordable monthly dues and no assessments or monthly minimums. For info, go to camelbackgolf.com.
Hi, I'm Roger Bland with the Automatic Transmission Rebuilders Association, ATRA. As a transmission industry advocate, I travel throughout North America, studying transmission shops, looking for the best of the best that our industry has to offer. Professionally, ethically run shops that are proud to display the ATRA logo. I was recently in Arizona because I had heard from more than one source that I had to check out Tri-City Transmission right here in Tempe. Folks, I've been in the transmission industry for over 25 years, and I'm here to tell you that Tri-City is the type of transmission shop we're proud to call an ATRA member. Not only does Tri-City Transmission meet the stringent code of ethics set forth for every member of the association, they also have an extraordinary approach to solving their customers' problems. You see, they don't just focus on what it is they produce, transmissions. Their true concern is about fixing your problem. And take it from me, that's a big difference.
To learn more about Tri-City Transmission, find them at tricitytransmission.com. That's tricitytransmission.com.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A+ rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20-plus years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
Man, we're jamming today. How about that, Dave?
Pretty good. Got good music for Dave's birthday weekend.
Yeah. Huh? So, we're back. I'm Matt Allen. This guy's Dave Riccio, and we are your KTAR Car Guys. But besides being your KTAR Car Guys, you know, this show is Bumper to Bumper Radio. And occasionally we need to introduce Bumper to Bumper Radio. People ask, what is this? What is Bumper to Bumper Radio all about? It's the show, obviously. We're here to help you guys with your cars, answer some questions, take away the anxiety from auto repair. Whether you're coming to one of our shops or going to any other shop, it doesn't really matter. That we're here for you. Second part of Bumper to Bumper Radio is the shops that Dave and I endorse and feel that do a very good job throughout this valley on taking care of customers and taking care of cars. And more importantly, it's really taking care of people and solving problems. And these are the people that are in your community, they're in your neighborhood, they're at your church, and soccer games and so on and so forth. So it's great to be able to do business with them. But one of the other things that we do, you know, you've heard us talk about the Radiothon at PCH, raising money for the Phoenix Children's Hospital. The station does that. And we do that in conjunction with all the shops from Bumper to Bumper Radio. So we've got the business manager, the business end of Bumper to Bumper Radio on the phone right now, I believe. Michael, are you there?
I am. Hi, good morning, guys.
Good. And I think Michael's going to give us a quick update, and maybe we've got a drum roll queued up for the big announcement. A little early, but he'll get to the number here in a minute.
Nice job, Kerry. Kerry's got the music going, the drum rolls. That's why you got a producer, right?
So what do you got for us, Michael? What's the lowdown?
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys. And by the way, Dave, I've got my dog trimmer set aside as a birthday present for you. So I'm pretty sure that my dog disappoints me when I pull that out, but I'm sure if I give that to you, you can make good use of it to get a little bit more aerodynamic on your bike, right?
Yeah, Dave doesn't go to Supercuts. He goes to PetSmart for his haircut.
Well, good morning. And, yeah, I'm the guy behind the scenes, but so are all the shops. We've got this amazing community in Bumper to Bumper Radio and this whole network of shops. And I thought it'd be nice just to do a call-in because we had a really awesome, really fun get-together the other night with a few of the shops so we could herd some of the cats together and really celebrate, an effort that we've been doing for a few years, which is called the Bumper to Bumper Radio Summer of Love, or PCH. And this year, every year, actually, we've been kind of stepping it up, but it was really special this year. We did a little bit of a call-out to our customers. So I thought maybe I could call in and just really kind of recognize the fact that our shops did an amazing job this year, but so did our customers. And the customers were basically asked if they would make a donation. We would match it at the shops. And you and Dave know, obviously, at Tri-City and Virginia, you guys were doing that, did a great job this year. But so did all the shops. And in typical fashion, we kind of finished that up right after Labor Day this year, but it was tough to kind of herd the cats to get together and celebrate. And equally did our tally, and I think last year we were a little over $10,000 and we committed to $10,000 at the Give-a-thon, but I guess if the drum roll was good now, the drum roll would say, boom, we hit $15,145 this year.
She's like a teenager. Goes early and then too late on the other one.
Family show. Yeah.
But, so what was that, Michael? $15,143?
$145, and that's actually we had a really fun night the other night and had a couple of adult beverages, and Billy at Interstate and Glenn and Rayanne and Kelly at Acura, Glenn and Rayanne at Good Works, and the folks at PCH, and of course you and Dave. We all got together and had a couple of adult beverages and signed the big Happy Gilmore check and did some photos, which we posted on our site. So if the customers that are coming to look for a good shop, you'll notice on the homepage, thanks to you, we've got a little picture of us kind of holding that big old check for $15,000, and it actually went a few dollars over that after we took the check down. But we really wanted just to do a shout-out because there's no better community support system here than PCH, and we feel strongly about that. And so we're really proud and kind of humbled that we were able to kind of help participate in the big effort, which is what KTAR does every year, as you mentioned earlier, Matt.
Yeah, it was really good. So, Michael, thanks, and thanks for calling in, taking some time out of Saturday, and for the other night, Wednesday night, it was good to just get out there, and it feels good, very gratifying.
We were watching the Cubs victory also at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, and the debate as well. What an evening, right?
Yeah, no kidding. So no debating this. PCH is worth every dollar there. So, again, Michael, thanks for calling in. We will talk to you later on during the week.
Well, we got open lines at 602-277-5827, and first this segment we're going to go with Thomas in Phoenix. He's got a 2015 Honda Fit. How can we help you, Thomas? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hey, guys, just wanted to ask a question. Just recently, actually yesterday, bought a 2015 Fit with 18,000 miles on it, and I've had a used Camry for the past few years, and I'm wondering what I can do to make the life last longer on that Fit.
On the Fit. Well, I mean, I would start off by just sitting down and reading the owner's manual and going through all the maintenance items on it and just making sure that you're familiar with what they're requiring or what they want you to do with the maintenance. I guess I would start off. There's several of the fluids and stuff on that car that I believe we need to shorten the intervals on. If you're going to have that car for 150,000 miles or 200,000 miles, one of the cheapest things that you can do is change the oil more often than the manufacturer recommends. Honda, they're going to let you go till the oil light comes on, probably about 7,500 miles. We talked about oil changes earlier, and it's not that the oil doesn't lubricate well. It's all the acids and condensation and junk and debris and other things that are in the oil that we see causing other problems, the carbon buildup and deterioration of rubber components and plastic components. So I'd stick with a synthetic oil and change it every 5,000 miles. Dave, you probably have a recommendation on the transmission fluid.
You know, that's one of those that has a CVT transmission in it, and you know, I don't know how it's going to go with the Honda Fit. I know how it goes with other vehicles, and CVTs tend to have a high failure rate. So I don't think you can service that transmission enough. And I do not know off the top of my head what the recommendation in the manual is for the Fit, but he's going to go through and read it. But I would imagine it's something you probably want to be doing every 30,000 miles. You know, make sure to get a good transmission service on that. And that's a big deal. And just proactive maintenance. You know, I mean, servicing anything, because I see where cars get ruined is when people do things like they avoid a leaky radiator hose, or they don't deal with it, and thing blows off a radiator hose and the thing overheats and wrecks the engine on the freeway.
And on that transmission, that probably doesn't hold that much fluid, so we're not going to be doing flushes on that. You don't want to use a universal fluid. You need to use the correct CVT fluid, and you're
from
probably
Honda.
from Honda, and you're probably going to do a drain and fill. Now, it doesn't mean go to Honda. That means go to Tri-City Transmission, go to Virginia Auto Service, go to Bumper Radio and find one of those shops, or stick with a great shop if you have one that you know and trust.
And you want to be adamant about the factory fluid. I mean, I stock 32 flavors of fluid. It's probably more than that at this point, but every year I got to add another fluid. Once in a while, one falls off, which is kind of nice. I'm like, I don't have to carry that anymore.
Right. But other than that, cabin air filter, you're going to replace it once a year. I'd probably do it in the spring, or unless you want to do it now since you just bought the car. Probably do an engine air filter every third oil change. Engine coolant, I'm going to probably cut that interval in half. I suspect it's 100,000 miles. I think I'm going to cut that around 50,000 and put a new radiator cap at the same time. Again, we're being proactive and preventative. We're not waiting until things break. If we wait till it's bad or we wait till it's broken, it's not maintenance anymore. It's too late.
Thanks for the call, Jim. I got a good friend that drives a Honda Fit. He loves it. He's always trying to game it to see how good a gas mileage he can get out of that thing. So he's always, playing the hills and the stoplights and all that stuff. Anyhow, let's go with Jim in Chandler. He's got a 2008 Chrysler Town and Country. How can we help you, Jim? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
The car has 80,000 miles, and maybe for the last year, it's had a problem where sometimes when you go to start it, the starter disc clicks. It always starts on the second, third try. Well, I had the starter replaced recently, and now they tell me that didn't fix it. I need a ticking module for $1,400. Does that sound plausible?
Tickum.
Totally
integrated.
Totally integrated control module. Yeah, that sounds completely plausible. I was going to say we want to be checking the starter relay, but in this particular car, it's built in. So probably what's happened is that integrated control module is not allowing the current to flow to the starter. You need a message to get down to the starter solenoid, and that message comes from the key. It might go, in this case, it might go into a computer, and a computer saying, hey, car wants to start. It's going to make the contact inside that module where the relay is. And those contacts have probably just burned over time, and it's not allowing the full voltage supply to get down to the starter to activate the starter.
Yeah, so tip-ems, we see those more and more in our shop. Tip-ems going bad. It's not totally uncommon.
It's time for Fact or Fiction.
I love that sounder. I listen to it at night before I go to bed. The fact or fiction for today, Matt? Yeah, I see you're on your phone. You're not even paying attention to me.
I am paying attention.
Is this how your wife feels at home?
Sometimes. What? Huh?
The fact or fiction for today is that you want to, now that we're coming into winter, you want to get all the summer air evacuated out of the tires, and then install winter air for the tires so we don't have those little yellow tire pressure monitoring lights go off. Fact or fiction?
Well, you're not supposed to mix summer and winter air, right?
Everybody knows that.
Well, then, yeah, you do have to then take all that air out. I mean, the density, we need to get the meteorologist in here to explain the difference between the summer and the winter air, but I guess I'd be changing it.
You would be changing
I
air.
Think so I wouldn't want to put air in my tires right now without taking it all out first and then refilling it.
Now, I don't think you did any of our listeners any favor. They are confused enough about auto repair, and you just made it completely worse. Just make sure they're full. That's all you got to do. Make sure they're full to the brim and go ahead and go through winter. But don't be surprised if that little yellow horseshoe light comes on here in the next couple of weeks when we get a little cold snap.
We were just teasing, but no, I could see the phones lighting up. All the mechanics are like, "You morons, what are you talking about?" We got the meteorologist calling, telling there's no difference in the air. I don't know. But when we do nitrogen, we take all the air out and refill that with nitrogen. And we've had, I did a little study a couple years ago. I forget the exact results, but the cars that we did put nitrogen in the tires, they did maintain pressure for a matter of weeks longer than the others when we had these cool temperatures. So nitrogen is something you might want to do if your shop does it and you feel like doing it. And the other question, Dave, we get a lot is, can I put regular air in my tires if they have nitrogen in them already? We're already breathing 78, 79% nitrogen as it is right now. So it's not going to hurt it. If you need to put air in your tire, just put air in your tire and you'll be fine.
Well, we've got Alan on the line and a couple open lines at 602-277-5827. We'll be right back.
In life, there are certain relationships outside of family and friends that are important. For instance, if your car breaks down, you want to have a relationship with an auto repair shop that you trust to repair your car. The same goes for your doctor, your accountant, and your attorney. Why? Because the services they provide involve health and financial decisions, and it's important to hire a trusted professional. This same principle applies to real estate. Hi, I'm Lisa Henry with Russ Lyon Sotheby's International Realty. For most of us, our home is the largest financial commitment and asset we will own in our lifetime. So when you decide to sell, it's important to hire a professional, knowledgeable real estate agent that you can trust to represent your interests and provide the best customer service available. If you would like a consultation to help determine the value and discuss a comprehensive marketing plan to sell your home, please visit my website at lisareneehenry.com. That's Lisa Renee, R-E-N-E-E, Henry.com. Come experience the difference a great real estate agent can make.
Matt and I share car repair tips weekly to help you keep your car safely on the road, and a few of them are easy to do.
Yep, you're right, Dave. And one of the easiest is to have a dependable battery that you can trust to get you started no matter what the conditions.
Interstate batteries are what we trust at Bumper to Bumper Radio. In fact, they're what we use at our own shops for our customers.
If you're like most people, your car is one of your most valuable investments. Make sure you take care of that investment with the power necessary to get you where you need to be. Interstate Batteries are America's #1 replacement brand with the factory fresh guarantee, and they're easy to find at good shops everywhere.
Cars or trucks, Interstate has you covered with long life and performance in our harsh desert climates with products like Megatron Plus. It carries a 30-month free replacement and a 6-year performance guarantee.
Interstate Batteries. No battery lasts longer. Check them out at interstatebatteries.com.
Fix it or forget it. This is the show that'll help you decide what to do with your car. Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio on Dave Riccio's birthday weekend. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and together we are your KTAR car guys, heard every Saturday from 11 to noon. You can find us all the time at bumpertobumperradio.com. As well as Matt and Dave, you're going to find a whole list of qualified auto shops to have a relationship with, to make them part of your family. If you don't already have a relationship with an auto shop, that's a good place. Matt, I was looking at some of the emails that we get at bumpertobumperradio.com, and people say, I've got this car, and I went for this shop for this, and that shop for this, and that shop for this. And it's like, that's an orphan customer. They're going everywhere, but no one's really taking care of them. It's like picking a different pediatrician every time you take your kid to the doctor. Probably not a real great idea. And for the guy with the Honda Fit, find a good, solid relationship. Somebody who's going to know that car and say, hey, I want to get the most out of this car. I obviously don't want to spend more money than I need to, but I want to maximize. I want to get to a text here. Gentleman texts in, what is ASE and why does it matter? Mike in Phoenix. And Matt, you're ASE certified. You're a master technician.
I am.
I got to bow to you. I'm ASE certified in transmissions, automatics, and manuals, and I'm differentials and that kind of stuff. That's my forte.
You're pretty smart, though, Dave. I think you just take all those tests and pass right through them, I would imagine. But ASE, Automotive Service Excellence. It's kind of like the American Dental Association, if you will, something like that. There's no regulatory body to oversee mechanics. anybody can have a toolbox and be a mechanic or be a technician. You can go to UTI and spend thousands of dollars and come out with a degree. You can be self-taught and learned and on-the-job training and learn by going to seminars and classes after work. And the community college, Glendale Community College has a fantastic program. But ASC, it's an indicator to me when I'm interviewing technicians. It doesn't mean you're a better technician. It means that you care about your industry. It means you care about your profession and you want to be certified. It's a badge of honor. You can say, look at me. I've done this and I'm the best. Now, in some cases, you can take a Mercedes-Benz technician. That guy couldn't pass an ASE test to save his life because they're written around most cars. That doesn't take anything away from this guy that works at Mercedes who is a master of that automobile. He doesn't need to be ASE certified. You go back and read some of these tests for ASE certification. They're talking about carburetors and fuel injection on Hondas and General Motors this and on a Chrysler that. And a guy who's working on Mercedes all his life or BMW or specialty, he doesn't know all that, nor should he be expected to be because those tests are written around the most popular cars. So, don't be – I mean, it's a good sign to look for. It's a good symbol. It shows interest and dedication, I believe. But it's not the end of all either.
It's important, but at the same time, too, it is. I see it in the window at the Acme Auto Parts, ASC. So when you see this guy run out to your car with this scanner and plug into it, you think, he may be ASC certified in parts. Parts, but he's not ASC certified to certainly work on a car and really scan your computer. So sometimes you're ASC, like there's different definitions. So I'm ASC certified in transmissions. That just happens to be the only test that I took. But, I could probably go past the rest of them. I could be like you, ASC Master Certified. There's probably a test that maybe we should compare our scores.
Hey, there's some guys that I've seen their tests. They come right out of school. What school train them to do? Train them to take a test. They're Master ASC certified. They couldn't find their backside with both hands sometimes. So
that's pretty good.
So just because you have it doesn't, again, there's multi-levels, like they said. There's school bus certification. There's heavy truck. There's 18-wheeler. There's engine. There's all kinds of stuff. So something good to look for. It's another feather in the cap, so to speak.
For sure. Well, we got to get to Alan in Phoenix. He's got a 2009 Chevy pickup, half-ton, 4x4. How can we help you, Alan? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I have two quick questions. First, in your oil change discussion, you pretty much tied oil change to mileage. My truck, 2009, only has less than 24,000 on it. Should there be a time factor that should be changed?
I know what we do at my shop. What do you do?
What's your second question, Alan? And we can probably hit both of them.
Well, the second question is the same thing. Is similar. With the four-wheel drive, since the truck doesn't get driven that much, should it be exercised or driven in four-wheel drive at any particular frequency?
For sure. Now, definitely on the four-wheel drive thing, I'll take that, Matt, and then I'll let you take the oil change. On the four-wheel drive, those things go bad more from lack of use. There's especially an electric motor down there, and it seems to me like as they sit, the grease or something gets hard in them because I think you should use a four-wheel drive at least a couple times a year. Just put it in four-wheel drive it around, just so that it's in action. Now, some people say, do I need to service the four-wheel drive, the transfer case? And I say absolutely, because that thing is turning year-round. As far as, all the power goes through it, it definitely needs service. It definitely needs lubrication. The service on transfer cases is generally a lot lighter than the rest of the vehicle, but, I'd say it's safe to say 50,000 miles, which is going to take you a while to get there.
What I'm hearing you say so that people understand is there's a couple different elements to your four-wheel drive. The transfer case always works whether you're in four-wheel drive or not. That is working. And then the part that's not always working is the locking of the hubs, and that's kind of what needs the exercise.
That's what needs
Make
the exercise, absolutely.
That's working. Now, you don't want to put that in four-wheel low or anything like that and go driving around. What should somebody do? Just put it in four-wheel drive and go a half mile down the road? And
just go find
steer funny. It's not going to drive right.
Just go find a big empty parking lot. They say you're not supposed to drive four-wheel drive on the pavement, but for what we're going to do here, put the thing in four high, drive it around a little bit, and then move it to four low, drive around a little bit. We're not talking about a whole bunch. It's just good to do that.
So talking about maybe around the mall or something, a couple parking lots, not cruising around.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't go out for a long drive and full drive on the pavement.
Yeah, and you're going to notice that the car is going to drive a little funny too. As far as the oil, what I would say is that since you're not driving the car as much, when you do drive the car, you need to make sure it gets up to operating temperature every time. And by operating temperature, I mean that the engine temperature gauge to the halfway point, and the car able to produce heat out of the vents. It should be hot enough for the cooling fan to kick on if your car has an electric fan. The worst thing for the oil is short trips. It gets condensation, acid buildup, and that damages things. What we do at my shop is we typically tell people every 6 months, so we can at least check your fluids and check other items. He could probably use a synthetic and go once a year. We still want to see you drive in the driveway 6 months like you're getting full service gas. Put some air in the tires, fill the windshield washer fluid, make sure the windshield wiper blades aren't melted to the windshield. I think I already said the tire pressure. It's just the little minor checks. It's not always the oil that's bad. It's the little things that go around it. And then, Dave, a second thing maybe you want to comment on. He's only got 24,000 miles on this 7-year-old car. Is there some maintenance that we need to do, like maybe the cooling system or something, just because we don't want this thing rotting while it sits?
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing I see when people buy this car. They go buy a car out in Sun City. They're like, this thing's great. I mean, it's 10 years old, but it's only got 20,000 miles on it. It's fantastic. Well, that car, we say, the first thing that's going to happen is a cooling system issue, because all of a sudden you're using this car, and that coolant gets acidic over that time and starts to rot things away that are on the inside of the cooling system. So, yeah, but with your oil change, there is a little science, and we forget to mention it. We need to have our oil guy back on, our tribologist, to talk about oil. Oil can be tested. If you want to test your oil and see what it looks like, just for curiosity. And I know that a lot of what they're looking for is trends, oil change after oil change after oil change, to see how things are wearing. Anyhow, if you're looking for a good, honest, competent shop, you can find them at bumpertobumperradio.com. From Matt and myself and all the shops, have a great weekend.